Hello, students. We are here again with marine and freshwater microbiology. And before this session, if you remember, we were talking about how we can analyze the quality of water, either if it is potable or not. So we have checked various things uh, to determine the quality of water for drinking purpose. And it was main theme of this uh, subject or topic that how we can ensure the quality of water. And for that indicator, microorganism concept was accepted worldwide if coliforms are present in water bodies or in water samples. That water is not potable, that water is not drinkable. So because all microorganisms which are present in water are various and they are taking too much time to analyze, to grow in artificial medium, to detect in laboratory, every microorganism have difficult procedure. Due to these problems, the indicator microorganism concept was raised. It was accepted worldwide if fecal coliform are present in water, means that contain various types of pathogenic microorganisms, so that is not suitable for drinking purpose. That water is not healthy. Similarly, would also have developed various standards for the drinking water, that how much microbial load is acceptable in water in different seasons, and if number of microorganisms, if load of microorganisms below that mentioned limit, that is acceptable. When load of microorganism increased from the mentioned limit of the microorganism, that water is not suitable. So Georgia Environmental Protection Department fecal contamination standards for water contact activities we have to discuss in this lecture. So Georgia APD fecal coliform standard for water contact activities are geometric mean. It means geometric mean is equal to simple 1, simple 2, simple 3 and simple 4 divided by 4 to take the average. At least 4 samples must be collected over a 30 days time period and at least 24 hours apart samples has been collected. That will give the reflection of the microbial actual content in water sample. So fishing and drinking fecal coliform standard May to October. Geometric mean not to exceed 200 mpn per 100 ml. So it is the Georgia FPD standard that microbial load 200 mpn per 100 ml not should exceed. And no individual sample should exceed in 4000 mpn per 100 ml. If microbial load exceeds beyond these limits in this season, that water is contaminated and that water is not suitable for drinking purpose. And November to April, geometric mean not should exceed 1000 mpn per 100 ml, and no individual sample should exceed 4000 mpn per 100 ml. Per 100 ml. So these are the standards. EPS, Environmental Protection Agency, and E. coli criteria, because E. coli is the main indicator of the fecal contamination in water samples. Illness rate per thousand can be, if E. coli are there, 8 people per thousand people can be ill if geometric mean is 126 per 100 ml, and single sample of 100 ml have 235 coliforms or E. coli. When this geometric mean exceeds up to 206, 9 people per thousand people can be ill. So individual sample may contain 300 microbial communities, microbial cells per 100 ml. Similarly, this ratio is increasing. When geometric mean exceeds 206, maybe 10 out of 1,000 people can be sick, can be ill, and every sample contains 383 microbes per 100 ml. Similarly, if the geometric mean of the microorganism exceeds, which we have calculated in our previous slide, that 4 samples has been collected in different time intervals, and geometric mean contains 548 geometric mean. Uh, that can lead to the 14 people per thousand can be sick, and microbial load can, every sample can contain 1021. So look out for that. But birds also contaminating the water body, because different natural water reservoirs, lakes, and rivers and glaciers are the inhabit of the various birds. Whenever birds are living in water bodies, they are giving droplets. They are excreting their feces over there, and every bird contains numerous and several microorganisms in per droplet of the feces. So these microorganisms coming a part of the water body. If water taken from those water bodies directly, so it have various environmental and fecal coliforms. Maybe several other pathogenic microorganisms may be over there. So in this regard, gills and geese are mainly contributing for the water contamination in natural reservoirs. Similarly, migrating and domestic birds also contributing fecal contamination load to the water body. Whenever these droplets are dropped in soil surfaces, those are also gradually leading to the water bodies through surface runoff and movement of dust through air towards water bodies. Worst case, gull and goose dropping. Suppose dropping weight per gram, fecal coliform in terms of CFU per gram, and fecal coliform load in terms of CFU. A ring-billed gull, it is weight is droplet weight is 0.54 gram. So 54 gram, 0.54 gram of the ring-billed gull contains 1.5 into 10 to the power 9 fecal coliform, and fecal coliform load is 8 to 21 into 10 to the power 8. So, so much microfecal coliform load is coming in water bodies through these birds. If you will see the Canadian goose, it is droplet weight is 9.98, almost 10 grams. So it contains 2 into 2.42 into 10 to the power 7 fecal coliforms per gram. So it is load to water bodies is 2.41 into 10 to the power 8. CFU in water. So, so we can calculate, we can conclude from this slide that wild birds contributing various fecal coliforms into water bodies. So natural water bodies where wild birds are living are uh, contributing to the water bodies by fecal coliforms. So such water bodies directly are are not suitable for drinking, so such water bodies should be treated before this. And water treatment we have discussed in our previous lectures. How much water could one gull dropping increase 200 mpn per 100 ml? Suppose if you will see gull, it is droplet, it is contributing 8.21 into 10 is the power 8 fecal coliforms per dropping. 4.105 into 10 is the 10 is the power 5 liter, and 1.084 into 10 is the power 5 gallons. So contributing in a huge number of microbes to water bodies. As well as if you will see in surface soil surfaces, it is contributing 3 point almost 4 acre inch. 1.45 into 10 to the power 4 cubic feet. So how much of one bird droplet contributing coliforms to water body? So only human and animals are not responsible for the contamination of the water bodies. Wild birds are also contributing a huge number of coliforms to water bodies. Suppose one bird contributing in a huge number of microbes, coliforms to water bodies. So this is a major problem. How much water could one goose dropping increase 200 mpm per 100 ml? So goose 2 into 2.41 into 10 is the power 8 fecal coliform per defecation. 1.205 into 10 is the power 5 liters. Similarly, it is going to 10 3 into 1.3.183 into 10 is the power 4 gallons, and 1.17 acre inch. So gulls and bees, they are contributing hugely to water bodies in addition of the fecal coliform. 10 geese defecating during a day of feeding 123 acre feet at 200 fecal coliform per 100 ml. So this is a huge problem. For this, every surface water reservoir must be treated before drinking, because wild birds, animals, and others are contaminating the water bodies. And 100 girls defecating one time 33 acre feet 200 fecal coliform per 100 ml. So it is a huge load which can cause any type of problem in consumers. Factors that determine the fecal coliform contamination in water bodies: survival and die-off. So this is the question: when these birds are dropping into water bodies, that microbes survive for how time, and which type of factors are supporting to the microbes to live over there? Because various type of microbes, including fecal coliform, E. coli, and many other pathogens may be over there. So from natural reservoir to at it is mouth or at towards end user, these microbes or these fecal coliforms are moving through water movement. So how they can survive for longer time or not? So factors affecting bacterial survival are die-off, drying. Suppose my birds are dropping in terrestrial surfaces or terrestrial ecosystem, they will dry out there. If there is no rain for longer time, and these will dry out there, and microbes which are present in feces or in drops, they will die, and there will be no harm, there will be no contamination of such dried droplets to water bodies. If temperature of if these are not drying, and before drying, a couple of hours or couple of days before drying, when these are going to water bodies through rain or through any source, so these can contaminate uh, highly to water bodies. If temperature of that season or that environment is too high, so for drying time will be reduced and the microbes will die. There is no moisture in droplets, that microbes will not survive over there for longer time and they will not contaminate the water bodies. If temperature is low, these will dry slowly and the chance of the contamination of water bodies through these droplets is increasing. If temperature is low, if temperature is too much low beyond the suppose less than 4, so these will be freeze over there and the microbes will die and they will be unable to contaminate the water bodies. Similarly, pH also playing a vital role for the survival of the microorganism over there. If pH of that environment where droplet has been dropped, its pH is very low, so most of the microorganisms will die. If pH is very high, microbes will survive, microbes will die, and they will not survive for longer time, and they will not contaminate water bodies. UV radiations over there, if are too much, so microbes will die through UV radiations, and after drying, after UV radiation exposure, microbes will not survive in environment and they will not cause any contamination in water bodies. Competition. So microbial populations will compete in droplet for survival and for nutrition. If uh, so, microbes they will use this organic material which is present in water in the droplet for their nourishment and for their feed, and there will be time all nutrients will be finished and the microbes will go through for decline phase and they will not contaminate the water bodies. Predations, other microorganisms and birds, if they will use uh, such microorganisms from this droplet, such microorganisms, so microbes will not go to water bodies and these will not contaminate. If there is no predator in that region, so microbes will survive over there. If the environmental factors are suitable for microbes, so they will survive for longer time. If microbes are surviving in environment, there are huge chances of the water contamination of uh, through these droplets. Toxic substances, if are there, they also can kill to the microorganisms which are present in uh, droplets. If there is no toxic substance, so microbes will survive for longer time and they will cause contamination of the water bodies. Okay, these were the things, these were the environmental conditions of that region where birds are dropping. If these conditions are suitable for the survival of the microorganisms in droplet, they can cause contamination of water bodies. Because if these are favorable, microbes will survive for longer time. If microbes will survive for longer time, so they have huge chances that by any means they will be transport, they will move from this place to water bodies and will cause contamination. Factors affecting transportation. So my droplets which has been given by the birds in mountains, in forests, in soil surfaces or in other places, uh, uh, their transportation to water bodies is main cause of the contamination. If rain is over there, if precipitation is over there, so these feces, these droplets, drops or bird feces will move to water bodies immediately. And microbial load which is present over there, they also will move to water bodies and will come to the water reservoir. In water reservoirs, if other nutrients are available, so microbes will survive over there, and they have to lead the increase of the CFU per ml of water bodies. It also depends on slopy lands. If these droplets are present on slopy lands due to rain or due to dust or due to any activity, these droplets which are having fecal microorganisms can be transported rapidly to the water bodies and can increase the water contamination. They can increase the CFU per ml of the water. Similarly, surface runoff. If water is going, if there is rain and there is huge rain, these droplets will move, will move from that place to water bodies through surface runoff. Soil type. Soil type also playing very vital and important role in transportation of the uh, microorganisms from surfaces to water bodies. If soil type is sandy, so it is a huge chance that through rainwater or through surface runoff, these microorganisms will be sink into the sand and they will be unable to move towards water bodies. If soil type is hard and that is directly leading to the water reservoirs, so microbes will move directly through surface water to water bodies. Surface features are also playing vital and important role in transportation of microorganisms from surfaces to water bodies. If these surfaces are uneven, they have stones, they have gravel, soil have sand, surfaces have sand, surface have bushes, surface have herbs, surface have grasses, and that is uneven. So these microbes which are present in water, they will be trapped in these surfaces, and a small number of microorganisms will go to the water bodies. Deposition proximity to water. So these will go to the water bodies and they will be deposited over there. If water has been stored is there for longer time, so microbes will survive for some certain time. If nutrients are available, if there are non-nutrients, so microbes will be dilute over there and they will die. Relationship with sediments. If sediments are of soil or water bodies, they are sandy, so microbes will sink over there. And if they are so hard, so microbes will live on surface and it can be transported to the consumer site. So from this lecture, from this topic, just we can understand that uh, we are getting some conclusive points. Number one, that birds are contributing in water contamination because every bird is giving is dropping, and every drop contain huge number of microorganisms that can increase huge number of that can exceed the CFU from permissible limits. So this permissible limits may be increased, can increase in rainy season, and in dry season it is number can be dropped because in rainy season there is huge humidity, high water surface runoff, and rainwater is too much that can lead these micro that can transport these microorganisms from surfaces to water bodies. If conditions are dry and tough, so microbes are unable to get access to water bodies. So in dry season, the number of the CFU in water bodies can decrease. But however, in every way, uh, water bodies have water reservoirs, and that those are contaminated due to wild activities of the birds, and before use or before supply of this water to consumers, we must have to treat such water. So up to this we are going to end this thing, and in next class uh, we will talk further on it. Thank you. Have a nice time, please.